30 Summer Universidad de Napoli 2019 World of You with the 6th day of driving. Join us as we count in the beginning of the driving session. Napoli 2019 è venuto al sesto giorno di tutti. Unite noi per l'inizio dell'entusiasmante sessione di tutti di oggi.
So welcome back to diving at the 30th Summer Universiad. I am Chris Snowd and we're in Napoli, Italy, with 3 days of diving to go. 9 countries have achieved podium positions so far, and next competition up is the women's 3-meter semi-finals. 18 divers will be diving for 12 spots in the final this afternoon. Lineup just being shown on your screen. It's a really fabulous pool for diving, open air, very little wind, the sun has been beating down, perfect conditions for divers, and we're seeing some incredible diving over the first few days. 6 competitions already, 9 countries have achieved podium positions, and at the moment China have 5 golds and 1 silver, so they're on 6 medals. Mexico are behind with a gold, a silver and a bronze. And then we have Korea with 2 silver medals. Russia are there with a bronze and a silver. And Germany, Canada, Great Britain, Italy and USA have all got medals. So not a medal event, this one, semi-finals. And here comes the competitors, 18 in total. All diving off the 3-meter. They're going to perform 5 optional dives. And after this competition, the 12 top divers will go through to the finals. Diving first will be Shamandi of Canada. And from Japan, Wakabishi. And then followed by Germany. Korea will be diving 4th. Korea already with some medals. And diving after that is Rota of Germany. Mendoza of Mexico got a bronze medal on the 3-meter mixed synchro. Hernandez diving, 2017 1-meter champion. And they're from Canada, Bali, who came 7th on the 1-meter, then USA. Yi Xin of China, one of the favourites for the competition. Reedy is looking very good from America. Abalati, bronze in 2017 on the 3-meter synchro competition, 16 in this competition, and Wu to finish off. So there's our 18 competitors. Those that are most consistent will get through to the final, which will be held later this afternoon. Well, we've had 2 failed dives throughout the competitions. Hopefully we won't see any more today. And there's your 7 judges. Judges will be picked later for the final because they're neutral judges. Some of those judges are former Olympians. The judging has been very good over these championships, very few discrepancies. Standard of judging over the last 20 years has really improved. Those judges' scores, very few controversies. So a lot fairer for the divers. Now, springboard is thought to be one of the trickiest events for the divers. You're never quite sure what's going to happen when you land on the board. Or it could be not land on the board like Rota did in the 3-meter mixed synchro competition yesterday, where she nearly landed on her partner, Scheider of Germany, and they went from 3rd down to nearly last position. That's a shame for them. People think the 10-meter is the scariest, but I think the trickiest is the 3-meter. Very important year. This year is the start of the qualifications for Tokyo Olympics. A lot of these divers will be going off to the World Championships straight after this competition. Our judges are in position. Divers are ready. Olivia Chamadi is getting ready. Wind just picking up a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And that's the way to watch the diving competition, isn't it? Sunbathe at the same time. So we're starting the semi-finals of the women's 3-metre competition. First round of dives. First diver is Olivia Chamandi of Canada, her first dive. It hasn't got on the screen, but it's going to be a back. It's actually in with 2.5. Oh, good start too. So in the easier tuck position, 2.7 degrees of difficulty. But the aim here is just to be a steady eddy and get through to top 12. A very nice entry too. There's the throw overboard, good tuck position, spots the water, lines up. Just the chin down a little bit on the entry. 51, should take that. So a good start for the Canadian. Kabashi. She chopped that down. Threw down at the water rather than forward, and a very open pipe. Needs to pull in even tighter than that. Finishing below the boards, and a little splashy on the entry. So below 40 points, 37. She'll need to increase the scores if she wants to make that top 12. Cutting out. 30th in this competition 2 years ago, so she'll be looking for a better performance than that. And a 2.5 tuck. Oh, that's a shame. She went from the tuck to the pike out a little too early and dropped short of vertical. See some replay. There's the chop down. Going fine at this point, but out too early. Way too early. Just about managed to pull the dive around. Again, another diver going under 50 points. Nobi Cho of Korea. Same dive. Made the semi-finals 2 years ago. Didn't get through to the finals. Again, the German out a fraction early from the tuck and dropping about 5 degrees short of vertical. Got to wait in the tuck here. See it come around just below the board. Tries to pull the chin down to get the legs around. Another diver in the 40s. Rota had a disastrous day yesterday. Landed on corner board, slipped into the water in front of her teammate in a lip synchro. Hopefully she's picked herself up from that and put in a good performance. She wasn't injured, so that's good. Back 2.5 somersaults in the pipe position. Yeah, good effort. Very fast arm swing at the beginning. That creates the rotation for the legs to come up. So a whippy start here. Pulls back, then forward. Could be a little tighter there. Good reach back on the end. Slight mistake with the feet coming apart going through the water. But it should be in the 50s. Oh, just shy by 0.5. That was a good effort though. Ollie Cushion already dived twice in these championships. 9th in the mixed synchro, 3 metre. 19th on the 1 metre, just missing the semi-final. In with 2.5 to start. Oh, good save there. It was going over. Quick save, or that roll under the water, pulled the legs back. Divers know what to do instinctively under the water to try and correct any mistakes. Just a little bit off to the side. I'm not sure the judges will pick up on that. Another one just shy, 0.05 of 50 points. Only one diver into the 50s at the moment. It's a Canadian leading off the competition. Millie Flower of Great Britain. 8th on the 1 metre. Back 2.5 pike to start. Just let it fade away from the board, and then when she came out of the pike, the legs continued to move over. So she's using the lean rather than just the swing of the arms to help get the legs up. And there you can see the dive continues just to move. Hard work to stop the dive if you're leaning back. 40 points for Millie. Russia. With 2.5 tuck for her opening dive. Tuck is 2.7, pike 3.0, degree of difficulty. Yeah, good dive. No fancy pike out, just punched the water, got a soft entry. Good throw over the board. Pretty tuck. Yeah, no problems there. Second diver into the 50s. Russian also with number 2.5, but this time in the pike position. That's a shame. Good spin, finished high. Ducked the head in on the entry though, and the legs kicked over. Simple mistake. Lovely pike. Just shows how flexible divers need to be. 54. So we now have 3 divers in the 50s, the 2 Russians and the Canadian. So standards starting to improve. Mendoza already has a bronze medal from the mixed synchro, 3 metre. Just missed out on the medal on the 1 metre, came 4th. Opening with number 2.5 pike. Just a little bit slow, vertical entry. If the diver throws late, it just draws the legs up in front, and then they get the feeling of rotating slow, and then it looks like the dive finishes low to the water, drifting off to the side. And sometimes the judges pick that up because they're sitting side on to the diver, not in front or behind. 48 points. Bailey made the semi-finals of the 1 metre, but didn't get through to the final. Finished in 14th, opening with a back 2.5 tuck, 2.8 degree of difficulty. Wow, what a jump up in the air. That's the first one we've seen jump this morning. Well, she's had her coffee. So good effort there from Kaylee. Strong jump, good tuck, spots the board, kicks at the board, reaches back. Just could have locked out a fraction more, arms by her ears. So 4 divers into the 50s, 51. Hernandez, a great springboard diver. Was the 1 meter champion 2 years ago. Just missed out on a medal on the 1 meter, finishing 5th. She's in good form. See how she is today with her inward 2.5 pike. Yeah, good dive. Might go into the 50s. She really knows her stuff. Very consistent. Surprised that she missed a dive with the 1 meter and just slipped out the medals. Look at that tight pike. Got that punch to the water. Chin just in a fraction. A good start for the Mexican. And it's with the highest score as well, 58.50. So she'll go into the lead. With 6 divers to go of this round. Farley already dived once in these championships, 7th in the 1 meter final. Good springboard diver. Strong on the 3 meter if she can stay consistent. In the 2.5 pipe. It just looked like she turned on the diving board and dived at a funny angle. I'll just check that on the replay. But if I saw it here, the judges will see it. Yeah, she's turned off to the side. Sometimes divers do that instinctively if they've hit their feet on the board in practice. And judges have picked it up and marked it below 50 points. Sculty of the USA. Same dive, but in the tuck position. First competition for her. Oh, a lovely entry, but it did drift back away from the diving board by about 0.5 meter. Good sharp out though. 90% of the scores comes from the entry. Just pulling the knees apart. Oh, I saw a slight twist going through the water just at that final moment. Judges didn't pick up on it though. 56.7. So the highest, second highest score to the Mexican. China. Had 2.5 somersaults. Yeah, picking an easy dive for the semi-finals. Finishes high. There's the first somersault, pulling in. Second somersault above the board, out, look, and then punch for the water. Saw a splash come up. Well, the 46 points is because of the low degree of difficulty at 2.4. 3 divers to go. First of which is Lauren Reedy of USA. Forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist, 3.0. First competition for her at these championships as well. Oh, good effort there. Probably out of the somersault, just a fraction late, just a little bit late. But apart from that, good technique. So he gets a hard throw at the beginning and then quickly out, single twist, good position there. And then digs the arms by the ears for the entry. 58.50. So exactly the same score as Hernandez of Mexico. Bellotta, bronze medalist from 2 years ago on 3 meter synchro. 16th 2 years ago in this event, so didn't progress through to the final. Hoping to do better this time around. In the 2.5 tuck. Yeah, good entry. Might be hard to go over 50 though, on a 2.7. It should be close to it. Yeah, good technique. Again, just could be a little bit more locked out at the end, and she does achieve that, 52.65, with one diver to go in round one. Chanting Wu. Give me 2.5 pike. Just cut it off. That's where a diver throws down at the board rather than gets the jump up in the air. Got the vertical entry though. So just as she bends her knees, her arms throw down. Good pike, but she's below the board coming out. That typically gets that punch to the water. And it's the highest score of the competition, 61.50. So after round one, China will be in the lead. Hernandez doing a good job, along with Lauren Reedy of USA, joint second. And there's the important places, 12th. Both Mexico and Canada are on that 12th spot that everyone is going for. A lot to do for Great Britain and Japan. So we're at the start now of the second round of the women's semi-finals on 3 metre. First diver, Olivia Chamadé of Canada. And a good reverse 2.5-2. Currently in 9th place on 51 points. Good start to the competition, good second round dive as well. In timing, did land on the end of the board, just slightly to the side, but a good kick out, fine reach. And just need to stay tighter with the toes going through the water, but another good score for the Canadian at 57.40. Wakabashi back in last place at the moment, 18th. Second dive in with 2.5 tuck. And we got 37 on the first round. And she's really struggling with her dives. No power off the ball. Couldn't get the dive jumped up in the air. All open in the tuck. And because of that, they're just very weak off the diving board. Struggling in the tuck. Can't lock out. Hits the water with her shoulders. And another dive for her at 30s. 2.40. Saskia Altenhaus back in 15th place. Second dive, forward 3.5 pike. An important dive for her, needs to pick up points. Oh, and struggle again. Just need to wait on the board longer so the ball goes down further and then it catapults you into the 3.5. Off the ball too quick. Killed her bounce here. Throwing down. Pulling in hard, trying to salvage the dive. Bending her knees. That'll be picked up. And that's a bomb into the water. Another diver on 32. Newbie choke. Just behind the German. Good 2.5 with a slight turn on the entry. So a low degree of difficulty, 2.4. Probably going to be in the 40s. Good fly out though. Just there, see a turn going through the water. And the judges picked up on it and they've deducted points for it. And a rota. So first round on 49.5. Second dive, forward 3.5 pike. Currently in the 11th place. Oh, she's got problems. Well, she lost the hurdle step, started to lean over the end of the diving board, wasn't upright when she threw, and it was always spinning down to the water. So poor takeoff here. Landed right on the corner of the board. Lucky she didn't slip off again, like she did in the mixed competition. That's where she landed on the other side of the board. So 41.85, that's a lot to come back from. Heavy pushing, 19/10. Another poor takeoff, leaning forward, not getting the jump up in the air, and leaving the dive slightly short of vertical with slight pike. The hurdle step here is important. As soon as you start to move away from the board, the legs feel very heavy. You have to use all the strength in your biceps to pull into the tuck. Well, some of these ladies haven't woken up yet. But let's see if Millie Fowler has, of Great Britain. Reverse 2.5 pike, currently in 17th place. Just struggled a little bit on the end of the diving board. Looked like she had a weight back on her heels. And that just puts a bit of doubt in the diver's mind. Like, am I going to be close to the board? Well, she was safe, but then having to bend really hard and arch her back to get the dive around. So that's the second dive for Millie in the 40s. Stepping over, good first round, 52 points, currently in 6th. Oh, it's a really good looking tuck, but she arched her back, lifted her chest up on the entry. And that's a shame because it was going for a very good dive. Good at this point, very good at this point. Look how neat that tuck is, but right here, she bends her back, scoops under the water, goes in the wrong direction. That's a dive that would have been way in the 50s, dropped down to 42. Square of Russia. Just ahead of her teammate in 5th place at the moment. But stepping over has missed her dive. Well, that'll get into the 50s, but the same thing, coming out of the pike, lifting the chest up and just dropping short. You can see her shaking her head. Tight pike, good look out of the knees, no crimp there. And again, just scooping under the water. It does get into the 50s. 52.7. So she moves further ahead of her teammate. Mendoza, currently right on the cusp in 12th place. Perhaps a shame that the dive was just a little bit open in the pike. Very springy jump though. Reasonable entry. Dive in the 50s. Strong jump. Just need to get the arms a little bit more underneath the knees, just to close off the pike a fraction more. 51.15, she'll take that. Better than her first dive at 48. Kaylee Sinclair of Britain. Good first dive, 8th place. There's 2.5 in the tuck position, 2.8. Yeah, beautiful dive. That's the way to hit it. Strong kick out, reaches back, a nice tearing sound going through the water. She'll be pleased with that. Everything's going right for her. She's comfortable, spots, kicks, reaches back, pulls the dive around. That's a good reverse, 54.60. So second dive for her. into the 50s. Fernandez in second place was leading to the Chinese. Wu, good pair dive. Second dive for a 3.5 pike. Ooh, she's back from the end. And she struggled to get it through. She was about 12 centimetres back in her hurdle step, didn't land on the soft spot or the sweet spot on the end of the diving board. The board's now feeling heavy and she's having to pull in like dear life to get the dive around. She's struggling at this point. The water's coming at her and it hits her before she can lock out. Now she'll move down a few places, 43. It's a big miss for Hernandez. An opportunity for Varley of Canada, who's in joint 12th place. Same dive, but in the tuck position. Oh, such a shame. Out of the tuck into the pike position, just a split second too late. And the dive just kicked over. Good looking dive at the start, good timing, tuck good, finished at board level. Actually, she finished really high, just losing point by going over 46.20. So still unable to get into the 50s. Unlike the American, really good first dive, 56.70. Now with a 3.5. Same dive to follow, currently in 4th. Ah, beautiful dive. Ascalti is on form. This will definitely go into the 50s. Classic hurdle set there, waits on the board, she's still going up in the air, finishes board level, pikes out, locks out, toes just a little bit apart. 58, even better than her first dive. Shen Yi. 14th. Back 2.5 pike. Got 2 places to catch up. Be safe. Oh, she's missed it. Came out late, pulled the dive over. Very archy. Typical whippy start. Good pike. But by the time she pulled into the pike, it was time to come out. And she left it too late. So there's another miss for the Chinese number 2. Well, the Americans having a good day, currently in 2nd place. And a 2.5 pike. Got the entry down, but it jumped a long way from the diving board. As soon as she swung her arms, her weight was back on her heels, the hips went back rather than up in the air. But because she was spinning fast, she got the vertical entry, and it doesn't matter. 58.5, exactly the same score as her first round dive. Another diver having a good day. The Italian in front of the home crowd, Bellotta. Currently in 6th place for 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Ooh, it's got problems. She got there in the end. Well, she walked right up to the end of the diving board and then jumped backwards in the hurdle step and then jumped forwards into the dive. And in the end, still got a vertical entry. So a lot was going on there. And incredible that she was able to pull the dive back from such a terrible takeoff. Leader, Wu, jumping. Back 2.5 pike. And 61.50. bit sloppy on the end. We'll go in the 50s, but seem to do better. Just struggling getting into the pike and opening the pike. If you've got a little bit loose of the pike, then it's loose on the entry. Oh, she's below by 0.5. Oh, what a surprise. So after 2 rounds in this semi-final competition, and it's all changed. So we have USA, China, Canada, Russia in 5th, Italy in 6th. But that's the point, the number 12 spot where Germany is hosting it at the moment, that the divers have to get through to get to the finals. Start of the 3rd round of the women's semi-final competition on the 3-meter springboard. First diver, Olivia Shamandi of Canada, currently in 4th place, doing well, back 2.5 pike. Oh, a little bit slow, but got the dive around. Both dives have been in the 50s. Should be close to that on this dive. Does she reach back quick enough? Maybe. Well, judges don't think so. 46.50. So that's the first dive that she's dropped, but not disastrously. Kobashi has something to do, though. Currently in 18th place, hasn't got out the 30s. Oh, she's broke position, landed on corner of the board, pulled her head down, didn't think she was going to make it, buckled her legs just before hitting the water. It's gone wrong here. Legs apart, back together. She wasn't sure where she was. They'll be down on 1s and halves. Judge number 1 re-inputting the score. Well, down on 2s, 17.40. Actually, she was lucky that she didn't land on her back. Jeanette's back in 17th place. She'll drop to space. And a miss for her. So Saskia, she's really struggling since the first round. Stamps the end of the diving board. Loose at this point, running out of room, drops short of vertical. 7 points from German. Ruby Choke, 14th. Oh, she got lost. Well, she landed back from the end of the diving board, threw forward. That was fine. It's going fine at this point, but when she comes out, she pulls her head in, gets lost, and then crashes out. Needed to stay in the pike longer and flick the legs out before going into the twist. Well, that's the lowest score so far, close to a foul, 10.50. Here's a diver who is used to doing a foul dive. A little bit better today than yesterday, as she slipped off the side of the diving board. Generator currently in 12th. Forward 2.5, 1 twist, same dive as the Korean. That's more like it. Boy, did she attack the end of the diving board. As soon as she landed, arm swung through incredibly fast. Look how quick this is. Out into the twist. No problem with the twist there. Spots the water. Small rollover at the end. That's more like it. So that's the first dive for her into the 50s at 55.50. She was in 12, so that's really going to help her cause. Pushing has to do something now. Currently in 15th place. 33 on the last dive, 49 on the first round dive. This a back 2.5 pike. Oh, she's flat on her back. Oh, she really hasn't woken up today. Arms are swinging too slow, late into the pike, dropping like a stone, no room to come out, tries to pull the dive over, and it's just impossible to do. 22 points. And it's going to be very hard for her to come back from that and qualify in the top 12. And Millie Fowler has an opportunity. She's in 16th place, but we've seen quite a few divers drop their dives. So if Millie can just get on ahead, make no silly mistakes, and she has a chance, because we've got a further 2 rounds after this before the cup. So visualising her dive, taking her time. Same dive. Yeah, good dive too. So the first 2 dives for Millie in the 40s. Good jump up in the air, lovely twist position. Could be a slightly tighter on the entry, but at 54 she will definitely take that. And for the moment, she's in 3rd. Looking over of Russia. Not safe, 10th position. At 2.5 hike. Oh, a bit sloppy. Need to get more jump off the diving board. So the arms whip back, then pull forward. There's the pike, but it's not particularly high. So go straight from the pike to a vertical entry. And you see a splash thrown up. 52.50. So 2 dives in the 50s, 1 in the 40s. So safe for now. In 5th, doing really well. Good dive from Karina. Another one safely in the 50s. Well, she's definitely looking like a finalist. I like the way that she pikes, doesn't bend her knees like some of the other divers. 57. So best dive yet for her. By 3 points. Mendoza just ahead of Strapanova. Same dive, back 2.5 pike. Yeah, good dive, and that's the way to jump up in the air. Could have had a tighter pike, but good whip back, little open here. Sees the board, reaches back, slap hand. Good dive. 52. So another diver that's safe for the moment. Sinclair going strong for Great Britain. 2 very good first round and second round dives. 1.5 in the tuck position. 2.8. Get into the 50s, 48, 50 points. She'll take it. Good tuck, very high. Just here, could have been slightly sharper kicking out. The arms came out and then the legs. Close to 50. That's fine. Menendez just behind Kaylee Sinclair in 8th place. 2.5 pike. Just over 100 points at the moment for her. That's fine. Average of 50s. Oh, had to put a knee save on it very quick. The 2.5 was fine. Just a fraction late coming out. Fine at this point. The feet just went a little high on the kick out. Need to press the feet back at the diving board, then pull it around. But the knee save worked, 57 points. She's gone ahead of Kaylee Sinclair of Great Britain. Harley of Canada. Back on 11th place. Has to be steady, not making any mistakes. First 2.5 pike, 3.0. Well, she pushed the dive forward. Her hips went forward off the board rather than jumping up into the dive. Just here, as the swing through, it's a bit late. Hips are going forward. It takes a while for the legs to come up. And then as she hits the water, she's further away than the ball she needs. Mind you, that's the first dive for her into the 50s. Skelty of USA. We're just having a little bit of a delay. We're waiting for the diver. Where is Skelty? So an American diver, Skelty, is nowhere to be seen. We'll give her a little bit of time. She's doing well at the moment. She's in second place. So hopefully... Ah, there she is. Probably went off for a drink of water. You're in second place. Just take your time. So Caroline's going to do a back 2.5 pike. She's had a blinding first 2 rounds. Oh no, she just dropped out of it. Mind you, she could have had a faster arm swing at the start, legs coming up a bit slow, but she could have salvaged it, just stay in the pike, but she lets the legs drop. And that is disastrous. After 2 rounds, great rounds, she's now dropped down to 31.5. That's a big miss for the American. Shen Yi, 13th place. Oh, that's going to help her a lot. Made the dive so easy. Good landing on the end, good swing back. Now the pull through, perfect pike, spots the water, reaches back, and there's your classic Chinese entry. Li Shen goes 63 points. Well, that'll make up for the 46 and the 40 in the second round. Edie currently in the lead, joint lead. She's overcooked it, out way too late, and that lead is going to fade away. Such a powerful diver. She finished the dive above the board, but didn't make the correction, push the feet of the board to stop the rotation, and the result is 37 points. 2 divers to go in round 3. Italian on the boards, and she's doing really well. Crowd appreciating it. She's currently in 6th place. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Oh, she's on the corner of the board, but she gets there in the end. Well, as she jumped, she lands in the corner, toes over the end, still goes up in the air, bent knees though, and managed to get a vertical entry. Didn't lock out on the end. Interesting, the scores. 49 points. Well, she's got away with it. Very lucky Italian. Whoa. Let's move back to 3rd place after that 49 points in the second round. Gives a reverse 2.5 pike. Yeah, good entry, good score coming up too. So she's redeemed herself after missing last dive. Pike position. Yeah, so knee saved just a fraction early, just going through the water, but using her eyes, and it's 66 points. So that's the highest score in the second round, or in the third round. And after the third round, that's how it is. So Wu is back in the lead. Russia in second. Mexico, Hernandez, really good third round dive. Italy's there. Great Britain, Kaylee Sinclair is up there. But it's the last 12 that we're looking at. So all of those divers are safe. But is Yi Shen, is Russia, is USA, is Germany all safe there, 9 through to 12. Canada back in that 13th place. Millie Fowler also a lot to do. Probably no chance now for Cho Wakabashi. Starting the 4th and penultimate round of the semi-final competition, the women's 3-metre springboard. Top 12 will go through. And because it's a long day, the judges are going to have a changeover. So we have a separate panel now for the last 2 rounds. Got to keep the judges fresh and on their toes. This is an important competition. 12 divers only will go through to this afternoon's final. First diver up for Canada, Olivia Shandy. Doing really well at the moment. In 6th place, just dropped back 2 places after round 3. Good 3.5 in the tuck position. There's the throw, squeezing the tuck, squeezing tighter on the 2nd and 3rd somersault. Yeah, gets a good side to the water. Grabbed her wrist rather than her hand though going in. It doesn't matter. 54 is going to keep her pretty safe going into the final round. Wakabashi back in last place. Just wants to put in a good performance now. Knows she's not going to make the final. That's more like it. Good strong kick out. A diver that's going to get better with experience. And as she gets stronger, she'll be able to move on to the harder dives. But performed the back 2.5 really well. And nearly gets into the 40s. That's the highest scoring dive for her. So she's going in the right direction with her scores. Austin House, well, 15th place. Some 11 points to make up to get into the top 12. And it's a 3.0, reverse 2.5 pike. So if she can get into the 60s, she may have a chance. Oh, big problem there on the takeoff. As she swung her arms through, she lifted her head up, and that lifts your chest up, and it slows your legs up coming into the pike. So late going into the pike, late coming out, and the water hits her before she can lock out. So that's probably the start of the curtains closing for the German for these finals. And Choi is just in front of the German in 17th place. Good dive though, that's more like it. It's a shame that she missed round 3 for just 10 points. Good kick out, reaches back, gets the feel on the hands for dragging the water down. That's a huge difference, isn't it? From 10 to 56. Well done. Rota currently in 12th place. And there's a lot of people around her who want to take that spot. First 2.5 pike, 3.0. I didn't like the technique, leaning over the end and then using the shoulders to pull back to help the legs come up. A bit sloppy archie going in. 48 points. It won't keep her safe, but it keeps her in there. Holly Cushing, 16th. Lands back from the end of the diving board and doesn't swing the arms very fast, so the legs, at this point, she is feeling very, very slow. And that's the wrong thing to do. Rather than kick the feet up in the air, she was looking for the water, and that makes the legs drop even further, 30 points. Millie Fowler. in 14th place. Just to make up 2 spots. Oh, some of the divers dropping. It's a big one for her, 3.5 somersaults pike. She's looking a little bit nervous. She knows it's an important one. Psyching herself up. This is a dive where you need the adrenaline, you need the power on the end of the diving board. It's a hard one to do. Everything's got to go right. The board's got to feel light and springy. Oh, no. Yeah, she wasn't comfortable in the end. Lands a bit on the corner. You see all the energy in the board still, bouncing around behind her. So it hasn't been transferred to her, jumping up in the air. She falls out of it. Well, that's probably the end of her chances for the top 12 to make the final. Shapanova in 10th. There's 2.5 pike. Oh, just a bit sluggish, wide with the arms on the takeoff. Arms need to come up faster over the top of the head. A little wide there, a little slow here. Did a good job of trying to drag the dive around. 48 points. Well, she was in 10th. Probably going to stay there. So we'll need a good final dive. Oh, what a competition the Russian is having. Currently in 2nd place. Just 2.5 pike. She's going forwards. Oh no, she's lost it. Terrible takeoff. As she landed, her weight was dropping forwards when it should be going back. And at this point, she just couldn't get her legs up. Pulls into a tight pike. Has to come out of it, otherwise she would have crashed into the water. And where she normally gets 50, 60 points, she's only scored 31. Mendoza in 8th. And pretty consistent, only 1 dive below 50s. That was the first round, the rest in 50s. Well, she couldn't get into the pike position. The takeoff was good, but her arms hardly got around the back of the legs. And here, you could drive 2 buses and a tank through the middle of that pike. And subsequently, very, very short on the entry. 28 points. Big miss for Mendoza, who was in 8th place. No problem so far for Hayley Sinclair. In a very comfortable 5th position. And 2.5 tuck. Lower degree of difficulty, 2.7. Just need to safe dive. Oh, what a safe dive it was as well. A beautiful jump up in the air. The board has catapulted her up. Classic tuck there. Knees not too far apart. Spots the water from 3 metre. Good entry. 54. Well, the final position's nearly in the bag for the Brit. As is the Mexican. Currently, Hernandez in 3rd place. Has had a blinding competition. Reverse 2.5 pike. Yeah, I should take that. Bit bendy coming around. Technique off the board, just using the shoulders. Can get close doing that, but the pike's good. Didn't need to bend so much going through the water with her back. But she was safe in 3rd place, 49.5. Really, the top divers are just jostling for position because they like to go last. So if you come first in the semi-finals, you get to dive last in the finals. Barley of Canada in 13th place. Can't afford any mess-ups. Tricky back 2.5 pike though. just a little bit short of vertical. 6s for this dive. Again, needs to get into a tighter pike earlier. See, there's a gap between the chin and the shins going around. Smash the entry. Just shy. 49.50, exactly the same score as the Mexican. Scalti of USA. 11th place. Precarious. That's 2.5 pike. I did a good job with it. Another diver, just with their weight slightly on their toes, coming off the ball rather than weight back on the heels. Hold on to the pike long enough. Gets the dive around. 57 points. Oh, that's going to really help her. There's so many divers dropping their dives in this penultimate round. Yishan. 9th. Not the best of competitions. Safe at the moment. So 2.5 one twist. Very wobbly though. And messy going from the pike. At this point it's fine, but here, the arm very low on the stomach on the twist and the legs coming apart. Lucky to squeeze 51 points out of the judges. That'll keep her safer. Reedy. Not too bad a competition, only missed in the last round. First 2 dives, very good at 58 exactly. This reverse 2.5 pike. Ah, such a shame. On the takeoff, her toes were over the end of the diving board, and it's very hard to push. So toes over the end. Here, stays in the pike a long time. Struggling just at this point to drag the dive around. So big effort there just to do a reasonable dive. 52. I guess she'll take that, but needs to be better in the, if she gets to the final, to get a medal. But amazing competition so far, the Italian. Bronze medalist from 2 years ago in the synchro competition at this height, currently in 4th. Such bent legs in the pike. Well, got the entry down. That's terrible position. Legs bent. The judges will pick that out. Feet apart. And then straight entry. Judge number 1 again having to put the score in. Yeah, marked it right down. They didn't like that pike at all. 46.50. Final diver in round 4. Wu Zhangting currently in the lead on 177 points. 3.5 pike. Just missed her takeoff. Oh, she got there in the end. As she landed on the diving board, it was coming up against her feet, so we hear a loud thump. But then, she's using all her strength and power to get off the ball, get it spinning, and still gets a straight entry for 65 points. Well, 3 dives in the 60s, and after round 4, there's the standing. China is running away with this semi-final. Canada is very comfortable, along with Hayley Sinclair of Great Britain. Mexico, USA all safe. Russia, well, they're getting close to that 12th spot. Canada, Bali just there. Can the Mexican get ahead? Mendoza should be in the final. She's of quality. And Cushing, the Japanese diver, back in those final places. We're at the final round of the semi-finals, women's 3-metre competition. All to play for. And it's a great dive for a Canadian for the final dive. She's in second place at the moment. She will be safe with that. Single twisting, front 2.5 in the pike position. Had a great competition all the way through. Only one dive in the 40s. All the others in the 50s. And another one, 57. So the Canadian is safe. I can say that officially. Akabashi, oh, it's not been her day at all. In the last position. Yeah, it's just really struggled. When the season's over, just needs to go back in the gym, get a little bit stronger. The stronger you are, the better dive you are. And that's a reverse 2.5 to finish 37 points. So he's had 3 dives in the 30s, 1 in 17 and 1 at 49. Ostenhouse of Germany, 2 poor dives, have kept it back in 15th place. 3 spots to make up. This would have to be the best dive of her life, back 2.5 pike to get into the top 12. Just struggled a little bit today. Hasn't got the power on the board. Same thing. Once the season's over, work on the legs, trying to get stronger so you can get the jump into the dive, gives you more time for your entries. And the final scores, below 40 points. So Ostenhouse we won't see in the final. And maybe not Choi of Korea. Also languishing back in 16th place. At 2.5 top position, down on degree of difficulty. But a soft entry going through. Had one good round, 56 on round 4. Although that dive was going short of vertical, it's quite a clean entry, 44 points. So it's her 3rd highest score. Very pushing. Oh, sorry, it's now Rota of Germany. In 11th place in the 2.5 pike. It may just be enough. It wasn't particularly high, but it was a neat dive. There's the throw, quickly into the pike. Good pike at this point, but finishes below the board. Just reaches for the water rather than grab the hands. 49.50. It may be enough. In 17th place. Oh, very loose with the back, very loose with the legs going through the water. So, probably will not be going through to the final today. A couple of good dives, not 5 rounds of good dives. 49 points is a fine score for that single twister. Strapping over of Russia still has a chance. 2 places to catch up. Final dive in the 2.5 pike. She's put her favourite dive to last because it's one that she can normally rely on. And boy, does she need to rely on it to get 2 places closer to qualify for the final. It's going to be enough. Straight entry. There's nothing much of a jump into the dive. Locks the knees out. Good pike position there. but it's so low to the water. 49. A lot of divers on 49 points. So 2-2-1 is the score for her. Dropping over, not safe, in 10th place. Ah, good dive. She is safe now. That's the way to do it. Single twisting 2.5. There's the throw. And then quickly out. Single twist. Good position. Looks at the water. Locks out. Good final dive. They're strapping over. So 249 should be safe with that. And should be safe as well. So should see 2 Russians in the finals. Picked up 1 place, currently in 9th at the moment. Splashing in 55, good final score. The shot clock. Mendoza of Mexico, 13th place. Not where you want to be going into the final dive. Another 2.5, 1 twist. Oh, lovely entry. Well, she may just have done enough. Well, strapping overs on 249. Well, good entry there. 54. Well, she's got a final score of 234. So she'll be unlucky if she hasn't moved up a place at that 12th place spot. Sinclair safe at the moment in 3rd. Great competition for her. Just dropping a little short, but it doesn't matter. This is really just a practice session for this afternoon's final. Different position. With the arms across the top of the stomach, in the twist, it works for her, 50 points. So Harry Sinclair will be in the final. And Mendes just behind Sinclair in 4th place. Final dive, forward 2.5, 1 twist. So same dive again. Sinclair went 50. She's off to the side of the ball, but it was a good dive. I think the judges will deduct. Yeah, she's off to the side. Lovely pike, good twist position, finished at 3 metres and kept the feet tight going through the water. 61. So she's probably going to go ahead on 269 of Sinclair. Six divers to go. First up, the Canadian in 12th place. It's good. Well, Mendoza was in 13th. She put in a good dive. 54. This is a good dive as well for Marley. So Marley will be through, I think, I still have to wait and see. I've got 5 more divers. Cherry Scully should be safe. American is currently in 6th. Yeah, another good dive to finish. So we're going to see an American in the final. Good throw. Flip out on 1 3/4. Very fast twist. And there you can see the arm squeezing the ears as they go through the water. Good score, 58 for the American. Shinyi. 8th. Final dive on the 2.5 pike. Oh, she's missed it. Dropped out very, very short. There's the throw, reaching forward. Beautiful pike there. Just need to stay in the pike a fraction longer just to get the feet up. 49 points. Well, with 3 dives to go, she's already in 6, so she will go through to the finals. As will the second American, as long as she does a reasonable dive. Forward, 3.5 pike. Ooh, tricky one. Struggling a little bit, but gets there. Oh, what a good dive. Lands on the end diving board, she's out of timing and then uses pure strength, and she spins so fast. Real acrobat performance there, 60 points. So Reedy will be through. 2 divers still to go in this final round of the semi-finals. Lotta should go through. Hopefully will go through. In front of the home crowd. Back 2.5 tuck. Quite a safe 7th place. Yeah, that'd be good enough. Little open in the tuck. But again, very good soft entries. Bit slow picking up. A little open in the tuck here. Good kick out though at the end of the diving board. And then reaching back for the water. 50 points, and she will be through in 8th place. Final diver of the competition, Chung Ting Wu, currently in 1st place by a massive 35 points. Forward, 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist, really doesn't need to do this dive. She could sit it out and still go through into the top 12. She does it in style. It's a beautiful dive, made it easy. Might even go into the 70s. Look how high she finishes, but every action she does is near perfect. Very close to it, 67.50. What a standard of competition for a semi-final, and it's going to be even better in the final this afternoon. Top 12 will go through. And I'm Chris Snowd, and I will take you through it, so I hope you join us. But we're going to have that final lineup just now. Let's see who does make the top 12. Springboard diving is very tricky, some ups and downs, but the favourites have come through. And look at that, hardly any wind, perfect condition for diving here in Napoli at this 30th Summer Universiade Games. And there we have it. China, Mexico, USA all dive brilliantly, and their high scores as well, with Wu over 300. So the Americans, the British are safe. Canada, Italy are through. Lotta, very good performance across the 5 rounds. As with Varley of Canada. They're just waiting for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, as are the rest of them. And there it is. Well, Rota of Germany makes it in 12th place, pushes Mendoza out into 13th place. So top 12 go through. Mexico, Mendoza misses out. Fowler 2, just by a few points. Korea, Cho misses. Australia's Cushin didn't get it together today. And Wakabashi, well, it was a good experience for her. Hope you enjoyed the semi-finals. Do join us again later for the finals. I'm Chris Snowd, and thank you for watching.
l'esempio dell'entusiasmante sessione di tutti di oggi. Ridi. Hernandez Monzón. Ufficiali sul tabellone elettronico. Next competition at 12 o'clock. Final 3 meters sprint.
야, 너네 이제 나와야 돼. 12시 시작이야. 40분, 11시. 재우가! 지금도 안 앉아. 그냥 앉아. 세워서 앉아. 시간이 10분밖에 없어. 그냥 10분밖에 없어. 그래? 그렇지. 오케이. 리버스 한 번. 리버스 한 번. 암센드 한 번. 퍼드 한 번. 퍼드는 그냥 올라가. 빨리 한 번씩만 해. 5분 전이야. 힘내래? 개새끼들 한 번씩만 더 해. 퍼드 한 번만 더 해. 재영이 못 올라. 재우가 빨리 입사하라니까 그럴 거지. 뭐 할 거야? 야, 둘 다 세워서 앉아.
Experience
And welcome back to diving at the 30th Universiade Games here in Napoli, Italy. I'm Chris Snowd, and our 7th final is the women's 3-meter springboard competition.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we're joining the diving here for the 30th University Summer Games. We're in Napoli, Italy. A fabulous diving pool, fabulous conditions for the competition today. 3 more days of diving, and coming up shortly is our 7th final competition. I'm Chris Snowd, and I'm going to take you through the women's 3-meter springboard competition. We've had the prelims, 30 divers started, the semi-finals earlier this morning. There's 18 divers were competing for just 12 spots. And these are the finalists. Diving in 12th place is Germany, Rota. Russia, Stepanova. Siker of Russia will be diving 3rd. Yixin of China had an up and down semi competition. Lotta, the favourite of Italy at the moment, the 2017 3-meter synchro champ. She's on good form. Iovali of Canada had a good semi-finals. And what a surprise, Sinclair, very consistent from Great Britain. Sculty, USA. USA 2 years ago picked up a silver in this competition. Canada already on the medal table with a bronze in the earlier finals. There's a second. America qualified in 3rd place. Hernandez looked really strong, was leading the semi-finals at one point. 2017 1-meter champion. But all eyes are on Wu of China, who won the semi-finals by an incredible, amazing point. Already has a gold from the mixed 3-meter competition and a silver from the 1-meter. So there's the order. Germany kicking off, then Russia. Russia, China, Italy, Canada, GB, USA. They're all diving in reverse order to where they finished in the semi-finals. So the divers thinks it's an advantage to dive last. You can see what the other competitors do. You rely a lot in these finals on adrenaline. And they're the top 4 in the semi-finals. Canada, USA, Mexico and China. We have a different panel of judges as well. Neutral judges. Luchanova is judge number 1. Lushima or judge number 2. Thorson is in there. Got some ex-Olympic divers. So a very good panel of judges. Judging has been extremely good across the first 6 finals. This is the 7th final of the championships. We've got 13 in total, so I hope you stay with us for the next couple of days. We've got some great diving, world-class diving in this penultimate year before the Olympics. So the judges are in position, protected by huge umbrellas And the divers are ready to. And it really is nice to dive outside in these conditions. Not too much wind at the moment. So we're about ready to start the final of the women's 3-meter competition. 5 rounds, first round coming up. And the first round is going to be kicked off by Rota of Germany, who qualified in 12th place. First dive, a back 2.5 somersaults pike. Standing a long time. Oh, she's missed the dive. It was so good in the prelims, went 50 points. But it was a slow pick-up, couldn't get the dive moving, ran out of room, and it was very, very short. So 2 slow picking the legs up, good pike position, but needs another meter, time to reach back. That's a big miss for the German. First dive of the first round. And poor scores there, just 31.50, some 20 points less than the semi-final. Stepanova is going to start with an inward 2.5 somersaults in the tuck position. Qualified in 11th place, first competition for her. Didn't dive in the 1 meter or the mixed competition, nor the 10. Good dive. Very sharp on the kick out, knew where she was, looked at the water, punched for it, and a tight entry. But all of that because she got such a high jump at the start. Powerful jump, quickly into tuck, double at board level, shoots out of it, and that's a good look out with the arms by the ears. So the first of the 2 Russians starts with a very good dive and 56.70. She'll be pleased with that. Skulair of Russia. Same dive but in the pike position. So 0.3 extra degree of difficulty, qualified in 10th. Good dive as well. Well, teammate on a tuck went 56.70. Skulair could go higher. Throwing forwards, beautiful pike there, board level, coming around. Didn't quite grab the hands and lock out on the end, but it is a vertical entry. No crimp of the knees, no bend of the knees with that pike. And she has, that extra 0.3 has jumped her to 64.50. 20 points better than in her opening dive. Yisheng qualified in 9th. Pretty good dive at a low degree of difficulty, 2.4. Wolgos will be doing 3.5s. Good technique. Now the last part of the dive floats around in an open pike position. Here's the closed pike. 1, somersault 2, now open. Then line up just a tad over on the end. 50.4, that's good, on a 2.4. So, 3-meter synchro champ, Bellotta, in front of her home crowd. It's always an advantage. Crowd have been good though, they've been cheering all of the teams. Her first dive in with 2.5 in the tuck position. Good dive too. Do think her tucks are a little bit open, but she can get through the water with very little splash. And that's where the majority of the scores come from. Powerful takeoff, feet a little apart in the tuck, but very solid entry. Safe as well, not too close to the diving board. Should get close to 50, and it has 55. So good opener for the Italian. Mia Valley of Canada, qualified in 7th place, finished 7th on the 1 metre. Was disappointed with that. She thought she had a chance of a medal. And the 2.5 somersaults pike as her opener. A little bit low finishing to the water and not fully locking out in the end. She'll go in the 50s though, no major mistakes. She starts pushing down on the ball. She just leans off to the side. And I think the judges are starting to notice that now. So probably a few penalty points coming off from the 7 judges. That happens normally naturally if the diver has hit their feet on the end of the diving board in practice. They haven't gained it too much. 6.5 gives her 58.5. No diver yet into the 60s. Bailey Sinclair of Great Britain. That 2.5 tuck. Yeah, good save. It was starting to move over, but she put a quick knee save under the water and it worked for her. Lovely jump up in the air. Very consistent. She uses her eyes, but here's the jump. See the board, kick, reach back, and a little knee save on the end. A good under for the British lady. Yeah, very smooth knee save. Worked well. 58.80, so 0.3 higher than the Canadian. Scouty of USA. Qualified in 5th place. Opening with number 2.5 somersaults tuck. That's a shame. She just missed the entry. It looked like she took her eyes off the water and just reached the wrong place. Wasn't that bad, but she could better in the semi-finals. All good at this point. Here, yeah, hands didn't reach forward, so check the rotation. Just need to reach forward another 10 centimetres towards the side, and that will stop the kick over. Just under 50 points. Charmody of Canada. Very good consistent list in the semi-finals and also in the prelims. Qualified in 4th. In the tuck. Well, it finished low to the water, but very soft entry. Just backing it away from the board a fraction. So as she swings her arms through on the diving board, to see her hips move slightly back rather than up. So she's moving away from the ball. That cuts off the height. But she's very experienced at the inward. Knew how to come out even though it was finishing low. She'll take that. Three more divers in round 1 in this final. Lady of USA, what an amazing semi-final she had. And 2.5 tuck. Nearly went 60 points in the semis on this dive. Actually, it's in the 2.5 pike. And it was so good as well. Well, it's going to be in the 60s. How high the 60s, I'm not sure. I didn't see much wrong with it. Very powerful springboard diver, and its timing as well. The thing about Reedy is she makes the hard dives look easy. This is effortless, but I can tell you, in the 2.5 pipe isn't a walk in the park. 72 points. Well, the first of the 70s, that jettisons her straight up into the lead with 2 divers to go. So the pressure's on Hernandez, but she is very experienced already, the champ from 2 years ago. On the 1 metre, she knows how to take the pressure. Same dive. Well, it wasn't as good as Reedy's because of the jump back from the board. Still, good position in the air, no bent knees, but small mistake here. The hips are going back rather than up. And I wonder if the judges will see that turn towards the side. It's quite pronounced. Lovely pipe though. I don't think it'll be in the 60s. Well, it will be in the 60s, won't be in the 70s. Barely into the 60s. 61. Well, let's see how Chung-Ling Wu responds. Inward 2.5 pike. So Reedy of USA at 72 and her in the 2.5 pike. And Wu match it or do better. Well, I don't think it was good. Her feet flattened on the first somersault. And although it was a very soft entry, the dive wasn't completely vertical, just a small over on the end. Very good at this point. But you saw her feet flat, then points again. So going in, the feet go flat, point, then line up. Surely that won't match Reedy's USA. Great dive. It doesn't, so still a good score at 69. But after the first round and the 12 divers, it's Reedy of USA in first, quite close behind Wu. Skiller of Russia did very well. Mexico's up there as well. Not too much of a spread then behind with Great Britain, Canada and Russia. Walter on 55, that's not too bad. At the moment, the others, 8th, 10th, 11th and 12th place, they really need to set it up a gear so that the others don't run away with this competition. Second round of the women's 3-metre final. Germany to dive first. And Janet Rota currently in 12th place. This a forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Oh, she caught the water on her shoulders. Judges will take marks off for that. Spins very fast, but doesn't go up in the air. She's traveling forwards, little open in the pipe. And you see the splash because she can't, or she doesn't have time to lock out on the end. Reaches for the water, but doesn't grab her hands. 48 points. Well, it's an improvement on her first round dive. That was the inward, 31 points. Oh, sorry, the back 2.5. Russia to dive second, currently in 7th place. Same dive, but in the tuck position. It's good as well. A little loose with the back going through the water. But apart from that, that was a minor mistake. It was a good-looking 3.5. Steady on the end of the diving board. She waits a long time. Ball catapults her in the air. Good tuck position. Finishes just below the ball. And at this point, she's squeezing hard. She's waiting for the water to come round, sees it, and just there, a little bit loose in the back and scoops through the water. 57. Just just a point better than her first round dive. And next is Karina Skier of Russia. 64 in the first dive, currently in the third. Good dive. I thought she could have been on the board a bit longer, just rode the ball down and got catapulted up slightly higher, but boy does she spin. Here, quick throw into the pike, pulling tight, squeezing hard, comes around and gets the lockout. Good effort there. But here, because she's pulling in, it increases. Right there, she's accelerating on the somersault, and that gave her time for that reach out. 65 points. So the second dive for her into the 60s, and 1 point better than her first round. Yixin, just an average first dive, currently in 10th. Back 2.5 somersaults pike. Well, she went in vertical, but her feet came apart. It's so untypical of the Chinese. They normally have very good body tension. Sometimes if the nerves hit you, it's hard to get your body tight. But here, coming around and the feet spread apart, that will be caught definitely by the judges. The 4 judges on the side closest to her. Got 3 judges further away on the other side. And they have, so drops from the 60 down to 57, just because of that finish. We're going to hear a big cheer now. Of course, the Italian is on the diving board. Reasonable opener, currently in 8th place. Lotta forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Wow, it was a bit of a drift down the diving pool. Such a powerful diver. She just wants to hold back a little bit in the hurdle step. Just needs to land upright on the end rather than have that lean. So she's leaning forward, and as a consequence, when she pikes down after the twist, the body just keeps moving and moving. And you have to do a very vicious roll save under the water to bring the legs back. Makes the dive easy. You can see there, not locking out in the end, and she looks disappointed, doesn't she? 54 points, that's what she scored in the semi-finals, and she can do much better, and she knows it. Varley, good opener, currently in 6th. 3.5 in the tuck position. 2.8. Oh, she kicked out too early. So on the triple, she just had to stay in it until she got to the 3.25, then piked out. Pikes out on the triple rather than the 3.25. All going well here, but now out too early and then short of vertical. Good takeoff, lovely throw, feels comfortable. She probably thought she was higher than she was, and that's why she kicked out so early. So Silim Stake drops her down to 47 points. Katie Sinclair, qualified in 6th, currently in 5th. Reverse 2.5 in the tuck position. Yeah, good dive. Well, she thought when she kicked out that she kicked out a little earlier than she should have, but she stayed with it and then reached back. Comfortable here, looking for the water, sees it and kicks. Didn't need to bend the back, everything's fine. Just maybe a few nerves there, or a few doubts just on the kick out. Yeah, with a tighter back, that would have been fine. 54 though, she'll take that. So 2 dives in the 50s for the British diver. Scully, USA, dropped the first dive. Qualified in 5th, back down in 11th. 3.5 tuck. Good dive. Everything went right for her. Great hurdle step, perfect landing on the end of the board, and then she just travels up for the first two somersaults. First somersault's going up, second is still up. Now she's dropping, board level, out at the right time, and a good lockout. So this feels really comfortable to her. Her legs are feeling light. She doesn't have to pull the knees apart too much. And now's the entry, 65 points. Well, she needed it. She dropped back 6 places. Shamandi Panda in 8th. Got back 4 spaces. Qualified in 4th. Reverse 2.5 in the tuck position. Good out. Just skipped forward off the diving board a fraction. She's a powerful diver and slightly anxious getting into tuck. Just here, could have gone up a little higher. See the energy in the ball bouncing away behind her. But good out. Just at this point, she's just making an adjustment. Kicks good, reaches back. Just slightly loose with the feet. 57. 55 on the first dive, 57 on the second, so she's moving upward. Reedy. Oh, amazing first dive, 72 points. She's in first place at the moment. This is a 2.5 with 2 twist, 3.4, one of the most difficult dives in the competition. And she's back from the end. Oh, she struggled, she was way back on the end, couldn't get the dive moving, and she knew it. As she came around on the single twist, she started to relax, and that's a huge miss for the American, who got 72 on the first dive. So here, it feels uncomfortable, the knees are crimping, running out of room. The bounce is just in the wrong place on the end of the diving ball. She couldn't get up in the air, couldn't get the dive moving, and it was a struggle from the beginning. 40 points. So from 70 points to 40 in 1.5 seconds. Dolores Hernandez, 61 points in the first round. And back 2 spaces, is in 4th. 2.5 pike. She too was back on the end, not as bad as Reedy, but again, that dive wasn't feeling very comfortable going around. She did get a vertical entry, but here she's back on the end. Her weight is on her heels rather than her toes. She's having to squeeze super hard on the pike. Her legs are feeling heavy at this point. She knows the water's coming at her, and she does grab her hands just in time. And she squeezes 66 points out of her very, very generous group of judges there. So 61, 66, that's good for her. Whoa. Just slightly off on the first dive. As in second, but 69 points is good. It's a back 2.5 pike for her second dive. Very smooth going through the water, but not particularly high jump. So relying on her rip or splashless entries for the scores. Yeah, very low here. Good pike position, just about board level coming around on the double. So she's looking for the board, sees it, feet at the board, reach back, and good entry. 70 points. So the second dive had to get into the 70s. So after 2 rounds, there's a slight change at the top. And here are the standings. China go into the lead. Russia now in second. Mexico in third. And look at that, USA in 4th and 5th. And Reedy, who was leading after the first round, is now back in 7th place. Canada in 8th. And medal chances fading for Italy. Chinese number 2, Canada, and Rota of Germany. Round 3 of the women's 3-metre final competition. First diver up, Jana Rota of Germany, currently in 12th place. Third dive, forward, 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Good dive. This is the dive she fouled in the mixed 3-meter competition when she landed right on the corner of the board. And she landed a little bit on the corner of the board there as well. Doesn't seem too happy with the save, the way she picks up. Yeah, she's way off on the side there. And not as much as before or yesterday where she did that foul dive, landed just nearly hitting her partner. So 54 points. A high score so far of the 3 dives that she's performed. Probably not good enough at the moment to get her up in contention with medals. Different though for Stepanova, currently in 5th. She's doing well, just 2 places out of bronze medal position. 3rd dive, back 2.5 somersaults pike. Oh, just about scraped it through. Very low finish, partly because of the open pike. Got to be able to close up the pike, get the dive accelerating and have some height to the finish. Here, it's too open. She's holding down behind the back of her calf muscles. That makes the legs feel heavy. Hard to pull in. Need a lot of strength in those biceps to get into a tight pike from there. 54 points. Well, I think she'll be disappointed by it. She wanted 6s. Russia. Amazing second dive. Pushed her up into 2nd place. This back 2.5 pike. That's much better. Perfect takeoff. The legs came up quick, folded into a tight pike, saw the ball from above on that double somersault. This is a great back 2.5. Above the board there, reaching back, locks out, just doesn't catch the right feel on her hand going through the water. But that is the only mistake. That was a good back 2.5 from start to finish. They've nailed it. 60 points. What did they see? So teammate went 54 on a poor dive, and that was a good one at 60. Anyway, we move on. Shen Yi, China. In 10th. Oh, toes over the end. Was never going to get the dive around. Lucky she didn't land on her back. Well, she overcooked the start, jumps too far forward, and her toes are right over the end of the diving board. And you have to use your toes for this dive. She's having to push off her heels. Boards flying around all over the place behind her as she travels down the diving board at 18 miles an hour. Bent legs, struggling, and she knew she was going to crash as she left the diving board. Lotta, 9th. Qualified in 8th. Big one for her, 3.5 pike. It's good at this point. It's a great entry. She flattened her feet though, going around. Where did that come from? You've got to take your boots off. Good landing, timing's good, pike's good. Coming around, feet are flat, then they point, and then she goes through the water. Very strong diver, powerful. Couldn't eaten up the pike just there. But if your toes are pointed, it locks your knees out. 60 points. Best dive so far for the Italian. Valley of Canada. Not having a good day. 47 in the second round dive. Back in 11th. There's 2.5 pike. Good dive. I was watching her toes, whether they went over the end like Shen Yi, but she didn't. Seems to get the right spot on the end of the diving board. It's all a matter of centimetres. Yeah, very high, good. I can see her using her eyes. So at this point, she draws the legs forwards, she looks again, then out, then reach back. Perhaps a little arch in the back, but that was the only mistake in the 60s. So, big improvement. That will help her. She'll start to move in the right direction towards the medals if she keeps that up. Sinclair, 3.5 tuck. Still in 6th place. Oh, a very soft entry, but just a little early on the out. I don't think I hurt her too much, though. Good takeoff, a little bit away from the board. So just throwing down and forwards. At this point, she's fine. Just need to squeeze that leg a little longer for a split second before out. 53. So all 3 dives in the 50s. Still 2 rounds to go, though. Carolina Sculty for her 3rd dive. Picked up 1 place, now in 4th. At 2.5 pike. Yeah, that's good. Just 1.5 points out of 3rd place at the moment. See how she swings through. Good deep press into the pike. Look, out. Just needed to push the toes a fraction more towards the board on the 2.25 there. And then those legs wouldn't have kicked over in the end. 54. So for the moment she moves to 3rd place, but we have 4 more divers. Mandy of Canada. Can't get out of the 50s, currently in 8th. About 2.5 pike. Yeah, good. Maybe it'd be the first dive into the 60s for her. She needs it. She wants to get back in contention for the medals. Good reach. Yeah, pulls forward, locks the legs out. Like the way she hugs the legs. The arms go right around the back of the knees. Right, no strength needed to hold the pike in that position. And then just thinking of the out by reaching back with a little finger. No, still in the 50s. So matches the same score she had in the 1st round. Reedy has dropped from 1st to 7th after the 2nd round dive, scoring 40 points at 2.5 pike. Oh no, she's tried too hard. Amazing jump up in the air, but just couldn't control the rotation. And she can see the medal just disappearing around the corner. And she finished a metre, maybe half a metre above the board. She needs to do a Chinese out where you press your feet out the water. She pressed her feet above the board and she was always going to go over onto her stomach. So, almost certain no medal for Reedy with 2 rounds to go. Hernandez looking strong, qualified in 2nd, in 3rd at the moment, just a few points between her and 2nd place at 2.5 pike. Again, pulls too hard on the end and travels away. And Mexico won this competition 2 years ago. But no medals are going to be won on a back 2.5 that goes down the pool and kicks over. Big double bounce there. Judges are on the lookout for excessive double bouncing. Can be dangerous if they slip off the board. I think she'll take that as a miss. 55 points. She can do better. Ting Wu, reverse 2.5 somersault pike, is in the lead. Final diver in round 3. Already on 139 points. Reverse. Oh, she's missed a takeoff. And just about gets it there. Well, as she landed on the end of the diving board, the board was coming up against her jumping down, and we heard a thump. And from there on, she's having to use her strength, because she got no height from the diving board. The board stamped there, pulling in, but using experience. So university champion knew what to do when things are going wrong. 67 points. And can you believe it? That is a miss for her. But still, the standings after 3 rounds. China in first place and already breaking 200 points. Russia comfortably there in second. Mexico third. And quite a lead over Belota of Italy in fourth. A lot to be done by Italy, USA and Canada if they're going to get towards those medals. But the medals have faded for Great Britain, USA, China and Germany, already down at the bottom after 3 rounds. Round 4 of the women's 3-metre springboard final. Just 1 round to go after this. Rota with her 4th dive in 12th place, reverse 2.5 pike. Another problem on the end of the diving board. Throughout this competition, she struggled with her hurdle step. Has been landing all over the place, on the left, on the right, going forwards. And here, she just wasn't comfortable in the end. Can't get the legs moving up fast, dropping like a stone. And again, it's the hurdle step that is failing her dives today. 45 points, which is the second lowest score for her. Strapping over, Russia, still in with a chance, 7th place at the moment. Some 23 points to catch up though. Well, it's a smooth looking dive, a little bit over on the entry. Just as she took off, the helicopter passes by. I don't think it put her off though. There's the reach back, then the pull forward, the fast spin, the look. Yeah, just fraction out late. Not too bad at this point. You need to just press the feet forward rather than up before reaching back with your fingers. 58 points. So at 58 points, that is actually the high score of the 4 rounds for her. 56, 57, 54, 58. Amazing competition for the Russian. Has jumped from 10th to 2nd place. Just waiting for the helicopter to pass over. It has. Off we go. Oh, she's travelling forwards. And it was a struggle. And it's such a shame. She was doing well in 2nd place. But as she swung her arms through, reaching back over the board, her hips are going forward, and it just takes that fraction longer for the legs to come up and get into the pike. And from here on, she knows it's going to be short. She tries to stay in as long as possible, can't do it, and it's a miss for her at 46 points. Shen. She struggled through the competition. It's just very untidy. Just lacks power on the springboard. So these dives, although they're difficult, are made to look easy. So open in the pike, wobbly in the twist. Needs to be a tighter pike here, much tighter with the feet there, and a higher finish. 51 points. Probably unrealistic to expect a medal for Yi. Belota, 4th place. Well, full place, but a few points to make up. 12 will make it. That's a chance though. Reverse 2.5 pike. 3.0 degree of difficulty. No. She just hasn't got the right technique. You have to wait on the board, the arms have to come over the head, and then you leave the board, and the legs fly up on their own. You don't have to lift them. She's using her own strength, not technique, and all the time the pike is untidy. And she was in a good position too, but you can't give that dive good scores. It just didn't look right. 34, and that will drop her right down the pack. So the Italian may be missing out on a medal. It's not over yet for Varley of Canada in 8th place. The divers dropping around her. There's always a chance if you can stay consistent. At 2.5 pike. Yeah, good effort there. That's the right technique. She used the board to flick the legs up rather than her own strength. Powerful legs as well, and good timing. That's good swing through. She feels comfortable here, and then the reach back. There's a moment where it just feels like it stops there, and then you reach back. So you make it 2 separate movements. 60 points. So the second dive into the 60s for her. Great Britain. Such a shame, was in 6th, dropped back to 9th. In the 2.5 tuck position. Yeah, good dive. It's funny sort of out. It looks like her arms come out first and then her feet kick out. It was clean going through the water. Comfortable jump. Yeah, the arms come out there, and then finally a little kick with the legs going through the water. 51 points. Sculpty, USA, with a chance of medal, currently a 5th. Oh, and she's missed it. Couldn't get the dive, coming back up over the diving board, and that's a missed opportunity. Bellotta, who was in 4th, missed her dive terribly. And that was a chance for the American to go past the Italian and get closer to the medals, but it's gone wrong here, travelling away, too slow, crashes into the water. And scores similar scores to Bellotti, 46 points. Well, with the Italian dropping, who was in 4th, the American dropping, who was in 5th, big chance here for Germany. Oh, and she's done it as well. So I'm almost certain she's going to go ahead of the Italian and the American. Good 3.5, very high. Board level finish on the triple. Looks at the water. She's very sure of herself at this point because she's comfortable with the spin. Looks, then there's the reach. Could have locked out a bit more. 50 points. That's 20 points more than the Italian, who was 2 places ahead of her. 3 divers to go in round 5. Really back in 10th after leading after the first round. Reverse 2.5 somersaults pike. No divers have missed this dive. Ah, she's got it as well. Well, Bellotta and Sculpty couldn't do it. The Canadian has O'Reilly of USA has a really good reverse 2.5. Finally, look how high, tight, and sure of her entry. I like the way she reaches back without loosening her back up. 64 points. Well, that's not going to do her any harm at all. So it's moved her up to 6th place. Still 2 divers to go. So Ned is doing well. Champion from 2 years ago. 1 meter. Oh, that's a shame. Pulled too hard in the end and it clearly went over. Really high in the air. You've got to check the rotation before you pull back. Good at this point. Lovely pike, finishing high, above the ball there. Just there, need to stay tight before you reach back. Actually, a knee save would have helped on that. 54, not too bad. She's still in a chance for the medal. Jump in Wu. Already on 207 points, so way in the lead. This forward 3.5 pike. Ah, beautiful dive. Scored 65 in the semi-finals. This is a little bit better. Slightly out, but sharp entry. She got that tearing sound going through the water. Not the best of takeoffs, but throws at the right time. And there's the punch. A little bit off to the side. I don't think that matters at all. The judges aren't going to look at that. That's what they're going to look at, the entry and the sound of the entry. 72 points. So she goes even further into the lead with another dive at 70. She scored 70 on the second round, 70 on the 4th round. And with just 1 round to go, there's the standings at the moment. China way in the lead on 279. Hernandez well in 2nd place. Russia in 3rd, but only 9 points ahead of Vali of Canada, who still has a chance. But there, USA, Italy, China and Germany bring up the rear, and no medals. Really, it's impossible for them today. Everybody will want to go out on a good dive in this final round of the women's 3-meter springboard competition. Final dive for Jana Rother of Germany, who is back in 12th place, the same place she qualified in. She hoped to do better. Final dive, her best dive on the 2.5 pike. Let's see if we can finish on a good one. Looking a bit nervous. No, it's just not happened for her today. She's trying too hard, so rather than use the technique and the timing of the board, she's trying to use pure strength, and it's not working for her. Having to pull in so tight in the pike just to get some additional rotation. But sadly, Rother has had a very difficult 2 days. 15th last year in this competition, so at least she qualified this time. 6th on the 1 meter, getting close to the medals, but no medals today. Final dive for Stepanova. Has a chance, she's in 5th. Forward 2.5, 1 twist. That's pretty good final dive. A little bit over on the end, but she's left the door open possibly for a medal if the ones ahead of her drop a dive. So we'll be looking at her final score, and that's the one we'll be measuring to see who goes above it and who gets close to those medals. Very fast spin, head down a little bit in the twist, gets the lockout in the end, but doesn't roll it early enough. So 54 points as a final individual score. 280.6 might not be enough. 280.6. We're going to keep an eye on that. Shika of Russia in 3rd place. We should go above 280. Yes, she will. So a good final dive from the Russian. Possibly it could be the third medal of the competition for the Russians. What colour it might be, or will she be picked at the end? But it's a good final 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Comes out at the right time. Very smooth transition into the twist. A little bit loose on the end, but 63 points. Surely she's going to be safe. And she's gone just under 300 points on 299.10. Good final score. Yishen has just left it too late. 11th place at the moment. Final dive in with 2.5 pipe. And quite low finish. Again, just doesn't seem powerful enough for today's springboard competition. You've got to be able to get the jump height. Once she's into the pike, she does spin, but you need a little bit of height as well to be able to lock out on the end. Lotta just missed one dive in the third round, which took her back from 4th to 11th, but now in 10th. Final dive, back 2.5 in the tuck position. The Italian. Good finish. So Italy going into this competition were hoping for a second medal of the championships. Already have a bronze. But not to be today. Just a little untidy, I think, with her tuck positions. It could be tighter in the entry. But good effort all around. 53 points for Lotta. 287 is her final score. Nibali is doing really well. 4th place at the moment on 227. Good final dive as well. I'm not sure it's going to be good enough for moving up one space. Again, we'll just have to look at that final score. And she'll be sitting on the corner of her seat for a little while. Very smooth twist up. I just noticed then, as she comes around, she changes direction and then scoops underwater. 58 points. Final score, 286.10. Well, 286.10 is just 1 point behind Bellotta. Final dive for Hayley Sinclair in 7th place from Great Britain. Yeah, just picking up a bit too much rotation. It's better to get stuck on the start for the 2.5 twist so you can pike down a bit more on the end. Just pulling a little hard here with the shoulder. And just seeing her chin travel to the left as she takes off. And just picks up a fraction, not a lot, but a fraction too much spin there. 51 points. Hayley, final score 269. So 20 points behind the Italian at the moment. Scolti out of the running for the medals in 9th place. USA. A good final dive for her, and it is real shame missing her 4th round dive. It's 36 points, dropped from 4th right back to 9th. But no problem here on the final dive. Good first somersault, 1 3/4 out, single twist, pike, see the water, lock out, and just a small wash on the end. 61 points. Imagine if she got that on the 4th round dive, she would be staring at a bronze medal right now, which would be America's 2nd. Shamandi of Canada. It's been consistent throughout, not missed anything. in the high 50s. Final dive, forward 2.5-1 twist. Well, that's probably the best dive of all for her, and she saved it for last. Really quite a few points behind. We will look at the final score. Yeah, lovely top. Hugs the legs in the pike before coming out and getting into that quick twist. There's the hug, now the out, the single twist, the look, and then just could lock out a fraction more, but it was a good dive, and the judges have rewarded with 61 points. She's on 280.15. So 280.15 puts her behind also the Italian and the Canadian. Reedy in 8th place. So they lead after the first round. Wow, she floated out of that 3.5. Just shows you the acrobatic ability of her. Normally, it's just the men divers that can do that. Fast, high, float out, showing off a little bit there. But why not? If you can do it, very few girls in the world can. And then knocking out in the end. 62 impresses the judges. But sadly, 275 is just too big a ask to catch up when you miss a dive so badly. 2 divers to go. Hernandez currently in silver medal position. We should get another medal to go with the gold from 2 years ago. Yes, it can be good enough. Mexico already second to the Chinese on the medal board. 1 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze already. And this could be the 4th medal. We'll have to wait for confirmation, but it's a good 2.5-1 twist. A little splashy on the end, but we won't worry about that as the medal is going around the neck for the 4th one for Mexico. But of course, it's not over yet. We still have 1 diver to go. So for the moment, for the next 10 seconds, Mexico are in the lead for the final of this 3-meter competition. But here it is, bar for Wu, falling off the end of the diving board, falling into the water, doing a foul dive. This is hers to lose. Chengling Wu of China has a massive lead, already on 279 points, going for gold. And that's the gold medal dive for China. It will be their 7th gold, well, not 7th gold, 7th medal of the competition, 6th gold. They've won everything except for the Mexicans, 1 gold. And she knows it. A brilliant dive, single twist there, above the board, locking out. There was no doubt in anyone's mind that Wu was going to pick up this gold medal as she started to just move away from the second round. So it really is just the teaching of how to do diving very easy. Another 72 points. That's 3 70s that she scored, along with the 69 and 67, to take gold for China in a women's 3-meter competition, the 7th of 13 here at the Summer Games. And there it is, it's confirmed. Wu of China wins by 351 over 302. Hernandez of Mexico picking up their 2nd medal. Russia are on the board again, 299, and it was just a little too far away from Canada to catch the Russians in 4th, 5th and 6th. Those are the official standing for the women's 3-meter springboard competition here at the 30th Universiade Summer Games. I'm Chris Snow. I hope you've enjoyed the diving. We have 2 more finals to come. Hope you can join us later today.
너무